Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm back with Usama for Bits. So Usama, I was reading about a major security alert this morning. It looks like hackers are still successfully breaking into accounts using data leaked years ago, specifically pointing back to that massive LastPass breach in 2022. How is data that was stolen 4 years ago still being used to break into accounts today?
Hello, Sam. Hello, everyone. This could happen in one of two ways. One, you haven't changed your username and password from before, which is a terrible idea. Or the attackers downloaded files that are encrypted, and it took them a while to decrypt those files. Let's say a couple of days, months, or years. Once they decrypt those files and they find access using username, passwords, or systems, they launch their attack again.
So do you think it's taken them 4 years to decrypt this information, or would there be another reason it would take so long?
Well, I mean, it could, depending on the encryption of that data. However, most likely that those username, passwords, or systems were kind of leaked to another group or another group because hackers usually sell their knowledge and sell the results of an attack to other groups to see if they can go back and attack the same victim and get more money out of it.
That makes sense. So are hackers able to speed things up, like the decryption process, using AI?
I believe so. I mean, AI can predict patterns, and people are ritualistic. So usually people start with a password and then they create small variations in it. However, AI will look at a couple of those passwords and figure out your pattern and potentially figure out your password extremely quickly.
So if I pick passwords that are not ritualistic and completely unique, would that be safe now and in the future?
Definitely for today. However, for the future, with the introduction of quantum computing and just extremely fast computing systems, I think that might still be a problem because the standards we have of encryption can be broken. Currently, it takes 30, 40, or 50 years, but in the near future, that might drop down to a few days or months.
So that doesn't sound too optimistic. So what's the move? Is there a fix?
A lot of organizations are talking about post quantum cryptography. NIST, for instance, issued a memo back in August of 2024 to establish quantum resistance standards.
So Usama, do you have any advice for our listeners on how to keep their passwords secure?
Yes, I would say just remember that when an attack happens and your username and password leaks out, that's part of something called exposure management. And my advice is definitely don't reuse old passwords and try to use passphrases instead. And if you're multilingual, use that to your advantage when creating these passphrases.
Got it. Thanks, Usama. I think I gotta double check my own passwords.
For all of you listeners out there, change your passwords, make them a little bit more complicated. Don't come up with a ritual, and see you next time on Bits.